Actually, when I was in the soldier, there's a it's in the soldier's situation is much vulnerable than your expectation. For the first time, it's hunger. It's soldiers always hungry, and second of all is that the accident, tragic accident, very frequently. So also they don't know what's happening outside of North Korea.
Witam Państwa w kolejnym odcinku naszego programu Świat według Polski, w którym staramy się opowiedzieć Polakom, jak wygląda sytuacja międzynarodowa i jak wydarzenia na świecie wpływają na życie tutaj w Polsce. Dzisiaj Państwa i moim specjalnym gościem jest pan Yonhap, były żołnierz Korei Północnej, który uciekł z Korei Północnej i obecnie przebywa w Korei Południowej. Mr. Yonhap, thank you for the finding time for this interview.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
So, what is about the situation with North Korean soldiers in Ukraine on Russian side? We hear the information about the Pyongyang regime planning to send more thousand troops to Ukraine by Russian side. Do you have some more updates, more information about it? How dangerous for the Far East region, of course, from the European perspective, Far East, and the geopolitical situation this information is?
I think, actually, I heard about the news. North Korean North Korean soldiers, more North Korean soldiers sent to the Ukraine-Russian war. So I think the Kim Dzong Un regime is almost all in one to the Russian government. Actually, he doesn't care about those North Korean soldiers could be dead or not. So I think in this moment, in my opinion, North Korean thinks that North Korean and Russia government thinks that the war is almost close, maybe. So and also this situation right now is both countries, Russia and Ukraine. The infrastructure is destroyed and many things are destroyed. So I heard about those North Korean soldiers is the sapper, which means actually I'm a sapper when I was in North Korea. They can build an apartment, install the bridges, and also sometimes remove the mine traps, things like that. So that's why they sent to the Russian and Ukraine war right now. So and also right now the Ukraine government is a little bit hard because I just heard about the news about the Russian and Ukraine war. It's the United States support not enough to those Ukraine government. So it means that Russia government a little bit more pushy the Ukraine and try to finish the war. Yeah, that's why they are sent more North Korean soldiers to commit Ukraine and Russian war.
You know nature of the North Korean army very well. As I know, you spent 10 years as a serviceman in the North Korean army. Can you say how, a big challenge or what is the reaction of the soldiers sending to Ukraine on the Russian side? This is the normal soldiers, this is some colonels, generals, these people using this occasion to escape, or maybe they back to the North Korea?
I think those soldiers, a mix of them, I think it's most of them, those soldiers, is normal soldiers. It's not actually special posts like the Navy SEALs, things like that. Maybe the news media, they are try to show up those North Korean soldiers is like very special force, like it's Korean said that it's a 특수부대, but I don't think they're not almost those soldiers. It's some special force, just normal soldiers. I heard about my friends who have a connection to the North Korea. Yeah, some of the soldiers, who entered the Ukraine war, they already finished the military service, but they came back to the military service to join the war. If I would be North Korean soldiers still in North Korea, I probably also forcefully to join the Russian and Ukraine war. I have no choice, because if the government says something to join the war, whatever, we have to join. So they have no choice. I think some of them, I think it's most of them, they don't know what's happened to the Russian and Ukraine. They don't even know it is war or military exercise.
Can you say something more about your experience in North Korean army? What you did, why you escaped, and when you escaped to the South Korea? Can you say something more about it?
Actually, when I was in the soldier, it's in the soldier situation is much vulnerable than your expectation. For the first, it's hunger. It's soldiers always hungry, and second of all is that the accident, tragic accident, very frequently. So also they don't know what's happening outside of North Korea. So which means if the North Korean regime says something, not 100%, most of them, they believe the government say that. So unfortunately, I heard about the news, the soldier who joined the war, they are, instead of they became a prisoner of war by the maybe Ukraine soldiers, they commit suicide. It's very understandable, because when I was in the North Korean soldiers, the North Korean regime forced to us, instead of to become the POW, it's better to commit suicide.
And can you say something more how you quit from the North Korea army? Because as I understand, in normal circumstances, in normal situation, is impossible, right?
Yeah, it's not normal situation right now. That it's very special situation in North Korea. I think it's long time ago. I think it was 1970, or I don't know exactly the years. At that time, North Korean the Air Force soldiers joined the Vietnamese war. Yeah, but it's not just normal soldiers to join the war. But in this time, it's just the normal soldiers. Yeah, but they show up. It's a special force. It's not special force. It's just normal soldiers to join the Ukraine and Russia war. So, in my opinion, North Korean soldiers also very shocked. Yeah, because this is really special. This is really it's unreal happen in the North Korean history. So what I concerned about is that the North Korean soldiers, the soldiers who already joined the Ukraine and Russian war, they got the military train. It's by the real war, so which is very dangerous, which is very threatened to South Korean government also. So it's very dangerous situation to the South Korean government and South Korean people. And the other thing is that I feel really sorry and pity to those soldiers, because those soldiers is a victim. They don't have a choice. They have to follow the North Korean regime. So that's the tragic happened in ongoing right now. So, for example, when I was in soldier, actually, I thought that one day we will start a war to occupy the South Korea. That's what I believed. That unfortunately, most of the soldiers believe that kind of stupid happened. Yeah.
Can you say something more about the ordinary life, ordinary citizens in North Korea? Because as you know, that we have only propaganda image, or maybe that there's some information from the escapers, from the people who spend some time also via tourism in North Korea. What is your perspective? Can you say something more how this life looks like in Pyongyang, in different cities? You know, how this life is completely different than, for example, what you and many escapers can experience in South Korea.
Actually, yeah, it's there is it's big difference between Pyongyang and different country, different province. Actually, for example, I served in the military in Pyongyang. Even soldiers' life in Pyongyang is different, big different than the other province soldiers. Actually, when I was in the soldier in Pyongyang, I think it's more than 5 years in Pyongyang. The other 5 years I stayed at other regions. But in the Pyongyang during the service, serving the military service, North Korean regime support us like meal. It's rice. The 3 meal rice, and also sometimes provide meat. It's a pork. It's not beef, just pork. It's something like that. So it's not actually quite good, but it's affordable in North Korean perspective. But other North Korean soldiers who served in the military outside Pyongyang, they don't have much meal like. They need to get a meal by themselves, like they're, how can I say, they're just like a corn, try to cook corn by themselves, and meat they just feeding like goat and rabbit by themselves. That's kind of happened even ongoing right now. That's the soldier's life. The normal life is also a little bit different where they live. For example, my hometown is near the Chinese border, which is called the Hesan City. We have a little bit the chance to cross the border to China, where we can make money by smuggling. The smuggling is normal life in my hometown, but so during the smuggling, we can earn the money by ourselves and via black market. But inside North Korea, I mean, the location far from Pyongyang, far from Chinese border, their life is much vulnerable. So they don't have, they can't make money via black market. And it's really hard to make money, hard to support their family members.
People in North Korea really support the Kim Dzong Un, or maybe, you know, not publicly, but maybe in the private conversation at home, criticize the government, because in Europe, in our western part, let's say, of the world, for us is very normal to criticize the government, discuss about the politics, how it works in North Korea, even at home.
Yeah, actually, never imagination to criticize Kim Jong Un. It's not just only Kim Jong Un. It's just even criticize some government facility like police and soldiers. We cannot allow to criticize police and soldiers also, and also there is no internet. We cannot any content compared outside of North Korea and inside North Korea, between North Korea and outside North Korea. So which means we have not plenty of ability, like analyzing skill, which one is good, which one is worst. So that's why it's really impossible. It's really hard to criticize North Korean regime, and even somebody, if somebody do something bad word to Kim regime, he or she must be taken political prison camps or public execution immediately. So yeah, that's the North Korean law. Yeah.
So this political camps for the people who criticize government or just, is described as an enemy or public execution is still going in North Korea, right? This is not about the past. This is still a reality, right?
Yeah, it's a reality. Actually, it's not actually good. The situation is not better. It's even worse, because right now, the young generation, they don't really have much have the royalty to the Kim family. So because they don't have any compensation from the regime, because the public distribution system is collapsed after 1994. But the young generation, they was born after 1994, they don't have any compensation from the regime. So, but they're just automatically, protectively, the royal to the Kim family. But in reality, they just only focus on how to make money, how to make fun. So that's why they really love to listen to music from like K-pop music and K-drama, and sometimes even the USA drama, something like that. Maybe, for example, Titanic. So North Korean regime really struggled to control those young generation. So even that's why the North Korean regime made the law, like some very stupid law, like it's like protect Pyongyang language, something like that. It's complicated law, which means targeting to those the young generation. So North Korean regime made a law like the hammer is bigger and bigger, but the young generation, I mean, what I describe it as a young generation could be maybe nair. It's nair. It's rising and rising again and again. So in my opinion, North Korean regime tried to those young generation, they control the struggling control those young generation, but it's not gonna be controlled successfully. So I want to say to those soldiers actually who joined the Russian and Ukraine war, most of those soldiers is young generation. They already knew, a little bit knew what happened outside the world. For example, how worthy South Korean economic situation, they already knew. But what I feeling, which is very sad, was that even those soldiers know what's happened outside the world. They're really hard to escape from the war, because their family members still live in North Korea. So if they escaped from the war, those family members who live in North Korea, they must be taken maybe political prison camps and public execution. Yeah.
Kim Dzong Un all the time say about the possible nuclear war, invasion of South Korea, or big war. In your opinion, this is possible, that the North Korea, for example, can attack the South neighbor, use the nuclear weapon, or it's never happened?
I cannot say it's zero possible. It's possible, but it's not high probability. because the regime already set up the scenario with the nuclear weapon to occupy the Korean Peninsula. They already set up the nuclear weapon scenario, but it's really hard to start the war because of the United States. The army of the United States they settled down in the in South Korea, which means if the North Koreans start a war, they're not against. They're not only against the South Korean government. They're against the United States U.S. Army. So that's why it's not almost impossible to start a war. But I cannot say it's 0% of the start of war. Even now, it's not actually a war. North Koreans, it's many times North Korean try to threaten to South Korea via military action, like drone action, drone threatened, and also even Yeonpyeong, it's how they're shooting the not bullet. It's I don't know how to say it. It's what can I say? Anyway, they're threatened in the Yeonpyeong Island. Yeah, things like that. So, but in this moment, maybe Kim Dzong Un, if Kim Dzong Un could be crazy, like he thinks that if I be forced by United States military action or South Korean army action, maybe be forced to be killed, he thinks that he maybe start a war. Whatever I'm gonna die, I will kill you and all Korean Peninsula collapsing. He might think that. But
yes, but North Korea army for sure will use the experience from the war in Ukraine field. Do you think that they will change the strategy completely, use drones, create more threats to the Japan, to the South Korea, to the other countries on the Far East?
Yeah, pretty much sure North Korean regime tried to change some military strategy via Ukraine and Russian war right now. So of course they have a nuclear weapon, but they don't. They have only nuclear weapon. The other weapons is almost garbage, so it's useless. So right now they try to be modernizing their military capability via Russian government. That's why they're politically, diplomatically, and military. They're just only holding on to the Russian government right now. So they must be trying to change their strategy, military strategy, and also they try to be weapons could be more modernizing, which against the South Korean government.
Can you say how looks like a typical ordinary day of the North Korean soldier in army?
The ordinary day of North Korean
ordinary
army.
Day, yes.
It's just like suffering all day and every day. For example, as I mentioned earlier, it's suffering hunger. Yeah, even I was a Pyongyang soldiers. The soldier of North Korea, even those soldiers also suffering hunger, suffer from hunger all day and every day. In 2004, I got malnourished because of the lack of food. So I was almost died. It's not only me. My fellow soldiers, more than 13 soldiers of my company soldiers, they got malnourished. That's the ordinary date. First suffering, second suffering. My section was a sapper in the North Korean army. So I build an apartment and build a bridge, something like that. So, it's the building material and also the building equipment. It's really vulnerable. Yeah, something like a crane produced by 1970, even 1960. They fix the crane all day and every day. So that's why sometimes the crane is collapsing and uh, and then so many soldiers are killed by the accident. Yeah, that's another suffering. The last suffering is that 10 years of the military service is so much stressful, which means they have so many violence, so many the bad happens like uh, it's physical abuse and verbal abuse, and even killed by themselves, each other, who might have mental illness. Yeah, things like that. Yeah, that's the North Korean soldiers' normal life. And last thing is that, as it's there is always lack of food. That's why the soldiers tried deep from the deep the food and some property from the North Korean people's one. So the North Korean official army name is People's Army. That's the official name. But North Korean people say that people's enemy, because they dip too much, they dip so much from the civilians. Yeah.
Do you think that the North Korea has active nuclear weapon? Because many experts say about the, I don't know, maybe 30, maybe 60, maybe 90, numbers of the nuclear bomb. Do you think this is a bomb who could be used, which could be used all the time, or it's like only, I don't know, some kind of propaganda news, and this weapon basically is not usable because they are not tested and so on in last years?
I'm not sure how many nuclear weapons they have. It's top secret, but it's many analyzing. Many experts say that they more than maybe 50 nuclear weapon. Some of them is almost 100 nuclear weapon. Doesn't matter. Just I think that they have. It's the fact is that North Korean regime has a nuclear weapon, but it's going to be used or useless. Maybe it's, I'm not sure it's going to maybe threaten to the United States like ICBM, because some experts say they are not actually enough capability to ICBM nuclear weapon, nuclear ICBM to the against the United States, but it's very much enough to threaten to South Korea. They don't have RCBM to attack South Korea. They just only use just a small run, just even just like a tank size. They can send, they can shooting the South Korean immediate directly. So I think the capability of nuclear weapon of North Korea is very much enough to threaten the South Korea.
Talking about the future, do you think that the North Korea regime will exist in the next year, in the next decade? They are too strong to collapse, or maybe something could happen, in near future, that the Kim Dzong Un lost power, or maybe someone will be the new leader, or maybe more liberal politics. What do you think about the future of North Korea, based on your experience?
Yeah, actually, I don't know future when it's the regime will be collapse or maybe more strong. But I'm very much sure, in my opinion, based on my experience, I'm very much sure North Korean regime collapsed. But I'm not sure when. because you know, I already mentioned that there is no internet, no international calling, even the information, domestic information is not allowed in North Korea. But those iron curtains is slowly break down right now, because I heard about there is more than 6 million mobile phone in North Korea. Of course, it's not allowed international calling, but it's domestic calling allowed, which means they can share the information domestically. Yeah, that's going to a little bit big change the North Korean circumstance, which means very threatened the North Korean regime. The other thing is that, like me, actually, some people who live near the Chinese border, most of them they have a cell phone. It's not actually a North Korean phone. It's a Chinese mobile phone. They can access to a little bit internet to the. They can make a phone call to outside of North Korea, like even directly to call the North Korean defectors. So the North Korean defectors can send send the money via that mobile phone to North Korean who live in North Korea. They not only send the money. When they send the money, they have to make a phone call first, and during the phone call, they share the information how plenty of the South Korean situation, how better life in South Korea. Yeah, that's another big change, another big movement in the North Korean situation. And last thing is that Kim Jong Un's health situation is really bad. Right now, Kim Jong Un just tried to show up his daughter. Maybe he tried to introduce his daughter next leader, but I don't think the woman can take a power to control the North Korean regime. If the woman try to take a power of the North Korea, the North Korean regime is over. Yeah, that's my personal opinion. Yeah.
At the end, I want to ask about the Poland. North Korean citizen know Poland? If yes, what know about the Poland? They hear about us, have some, I don't know, emotion, knowledge about our country?
Actually, in North Korea, they never know about Poland. They just only about the Polska. Yeah, they say the Polska. They called not Poland. It's Polska.
Yes.
Yeah. So they have a good relationship between Poland government and North Korean government during the socialism country. But most of them North Korean people, they don't know Poland people, and they don't interested outside of North Korea. It's North Korean regime. Even North Korean regime really afraid the people. North Korean people try to get some information outside of the North Korea, even socialism country like Russia and Poland, whatever, China. North Korean regime try to block all information outside of North Korea. Doesn't matter socialism and capitalism. So that's why North Korean people they don't know Poland people very much. Maybe long time ago, maybe old people they might be a little bit about knowledge. They might have a little bit knowledge about Poland, like my grandpa. Actually, my grandpa was actually international student in Russia a long time ago.
Interesting.
He actually, he was a general actually. So he can speak Russia and French and other. I forgot one language anyway. So maybe his generation, maybe like high elite status could be know about Poland political action and maybe diplomatic action, but the normal people, especially young generation, they actually don't know Poland people. Yeah. So, but in my personal experience, I have a Poland Poland TV. Actually, I don't know. I'm not sure it's Poland TV or not, because when I was a kid, my father actually got a present from the company, because my father actually worked very hard. The North Korean regime gave the present a TV, but my father said that this is a Poland one, a Poland TV. Yeah, he said that.
Very last question. What you can say to the people also from Poland who think about the go with the tourist issue to North Korea? The border with North Korea is open. We have an experience when one of Polish YouTuber go to the North Korea and shoot the video. What you can say to these people who think about the go to the North Korea now as tourists?
Oh yeah, actually, first of all, I want to say that who might think about to go to North Korea as a tourist, first of all, do not try to have an interview just normal people. That's gonna be dangerous. And second of all, if you go to North Korea and when you see some situation about North Korea, do not believe this is a real situation. Yeah, tourist course is really, really different than normal people of North Korea. So North Korean regime really strict control the tourists. Whatever, doesn't matter what kind of the people, maybe from the capitalism, from the socialism, doesn't matter. They try to really strict control those tourists. They trying to those tourists just show see the just which is very good things in North Korea. Yeah, but I don't want to say do not go to North Korea. Just go to North Korea, but just think about. Even if you can see anything about the North Korean situation, this is not real situation. This is really, really, I think, it's best situation in North Korea. Yeah, that's why that is North Korean regime trying to show up to the tourists. Yeah, that's my opinion. Yeah.
Thank you very much for this very interesting interview. Państwa i moim gościem był Yonhap, były żołnierz Korei Północnej, który opowiedział nam o swoich doświadczeniach. Thank you very much for this time.
Yeah, thank you for sharing my story. Thank you.